With immense joy and gratitude to Master Paramahansa Yogananda, we embark on the journey together to travel through the book that opens the windows of the mind and the spirit. I humbly bow to Yogananda and his lineage of Gurus, Swami Yukteswarji, Lahiri Mahasaya, and the eternal and immortal Guru, Mahavatar Babaji. The divine consciousness that led me to take on this journey, please accept my humble reverence. We start on with the early life of Yogananda. Yogananda was born on January 5, 1893 in Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. He had 8 siblings, so there were 4 brothers and 4 sisters. Yogananda's childhood name was Mukunda Lal Ghosh. We don't know how many lifetimes we have been born before or what identities we carried during those lifetimes. But Yogananda, from his early childhood, he could easily recollect memories of his past life where he had been a yogi in the Himalayas. He was ever highly aware, always in tune, in connection with the divine consciousness. It is said that as souls we choose our parents, that is the family we want to be born into. And Yogananda chose a very spiritual family. His father, Bhagavati Charan Ghosh, was kind-hearted, brave and a disciplinarian. He held the position to that of a vice president in one of the India's largest companies of that time, Bengal Nagpur Railways. Yoganandaji's mother, Jnanaprabha Ghosh, was a queen of hearts. She taught her children only through love, and she never hesitated to go that extra mile to help those in need. There was one interesting instance several years after Yogananda's father's retirement. It was noticed that an amount of 1,25,000, which was a huge sum in early 1900s, it was due to his father, and his father never asked about this sum to his company. So this amount was transferred much later during his retirement time to his bank accounts, and he forgot to mention about this to his family. Much later, when this was noticed in his bank statement, father just said, "Why should we be happy with the material profit? The one who is even-minded is neither jubilant with gain nor depressed by loss. He knows that a man arrives penniless in this world and departs without a single rupee." Friends, this is such a beautiful lesson for us. We worry endlessly about our finances, about our wealth, our property. Desires have no limit. Only when we learn to be content with what we have, then and only then we experience the inner joy, the inner peace, which are our true treasures. Yogananda's parents were disciples of a great master, Lahiri Mahasaya. It is indeed very interesting to know how they met their great guru, Lahiri Mahasaya. So once it happens that Yogananda's father's subordinate, he wanted a week off to visit his guru, that is Lahiri Mahasaya in Banaras. And father dismissed the plea, saying that you should concentrate only on your work and not waste time on some gurus and other such things. And one day when they were both coming back from the office, the form of great Lahiri Mahasaya, it suddenly appeared out of nowhere and said, "Bhagavati," which is Yogananda's father's name, "you are too hard on your employee." And the form vanished as mysteriously as it had come. So it was no less than a miracle to see Lahiri Mahasaya, who lived in Banaras, to materialize himself and appear in front of them in Gorakhpur. And the distance between these two places is 140 miles. And Yogananda's father at that very moment said that we will go together to Banaras and seek the blessings of this divine guru. And in this way, Yogananda's parents, they got initiated into the spiritual practice of Kriya Yoga and became disciples of Lahiri Mahasaya. And while they were leaving Lahiri Mahasaya's ashram, Lahiri Mahasaya gave Yogananda's parents a picture of himself. Lahiri Mahasaya, he left the world shortly thereafter, but his picture always adorned the family altar. This book is a perfect example of what miracles can faith and surrender to the divine bring in one's life. And friends, this is just the beginning of the miracles to unfold. When Yogananda was 8 years old, he was gripped with the deadly Asiatic cholera, and this disease was fatal back then with no cures. The doctors had given up, and Yogananda had uncontrollable symptoms of vomiting and diarrhea, but his mother was convinced that the picture of their Guru Lahiri Mahasaya will save the life of Yogananda, and Yogananda was too feeble to even lift his hands in salutation to the picture, so he just mentally bowed to the picture. And just as Yogananda mentally bowed, there was a blinding light covering his body and the entire room. His symptoms disappeared, and he was strong enough to touch his mother's feet in appreciation of her immeasurable faith in her Guru. So in this way, Yogananda was cured of the fatal disease. Isn't this a miracle, friends, how Yogananda had this fatal disease of cholera, and how the blessings and the grace of the Guru Lahiri Mahasaya saved his life. In our lives too, our belief system attracts things to us, and where our beliefs are weak, we find it hard to achieve things. Had Yogananda's mother believed that it was only a picture of her Guru and could do nothing beyond, then nothing would have happened. But her belief that this picture of her Guru holds her Guru's vibrations and holds the power to manifest miracles, it did work miracles. Lahiri Mahasaya had said about this picture that if you deem it as protection, then it is so. Otherwise, it is only a picture. And if you see this picture of Lahiri Mahasaya, his eyes are half open to denote the nominal interest in the outer world, and also half closed, indicating his absorption in inner bliss. And that is, one should always take the middle path and lead one's life. It is fascinating to know that this picture of Lahiri Mahasaya is the only picture of him ever being clicked. And how this picture got clicked is also holds an interesting story behind it. Every time a picture of Lahiri Mahasaya was taken along with his disciples, then a blank space would appear where the picture of Lahiri Mahasaya should have been. And many attempts were made, but all were in vain. Finally, the great Guru said, "I am spirit. Can your camera take the picture of what is omnipresent or what is invisible?" It was after much persuasion that Lahiri Mahasaya agreed to finally pose, and then the master never posed for another picture thereafter. So this picture of Lahiri Mahasaya that you are seeing is the only picture of him ever being taken with the permission of Lahiri Mahasaya. Coming back to Yogananda's childhood life, we know that Yogananda had 7 siblings, and we can well imagine the kind of fun, laughter and the mischievous things they did with one another. So one such memorable event that Yogananda shared in this book was with his eldest sister Uma complained of a boil on her leg, and she used an ointment to help heal her boil. And the very next moment, Yogananda too smeared some of the ointment on his forearm. And seeing this, his eldest sister Uma got confused and asked him, "Why are you using a medicine? Your arm is just healthy. Why do you need an ointment for that?" To which Yogananda replied that at this place on my forearm a boil will appear tomorrow, and not only this, your boil shall swell twice its present size. And the next morning exactly the same happened. Yogananda got a boil at the same place where he had remarked, and the size of his sister's boil got doubled. Isn't this incredible, friends? But not for Yogananda, who was later reprimanded by his mother and was counseled that the words are powerful vibrations and that he should use them to uplift the spirits and to help and heal others. Now coming to Yogananda's eldest brother Ananta, it was time for him to get married, and Yogananda's mother was elated and happy to see her greatest desire of his eldest son being married, and so she was busy with the wedding preparations in their family home in Calcutta, while Yogananda and his father remained in Bareilly, where the father was currently posted for the job. One night, Yogananda got a vision of his beloved mother, and in this vision, the mother asked Yogananda to immediately take the next train and rush to Calcutta to see her for one last time. And Yogananda immediately said to his father that the mother was dying and that they needed to rush to Calcutta. But the father dismissed his plea, saying that It is just another of your hallucination, and the mother is in excellent health and nothing has happened to her. She is perfect and you don't need to worry about anything. But the next morning they received a telegram saying, "Mother dangerously ill, marriage postponed, come at once." And the mother had already left for heavenly abode when Yogananda and his father reached their Calcutta home. The world suddenly collapsed for Yogananda, who was then just an 11-year-old boy. He had lost not only his mother but also his dearest friend on earth. It was 14 months after his mother's passing that Yogananda learned that his mother had left a very important message for him, and that message was that even before the birth of Yogananda, his mother was told by Lahiri Mahasaya that his son who is yet to be born, he will be a great yogi and his path would lie far from worldly ambitions. He'll be a renunciant. So mother's message also had an important revelation. A few years back, Saint had visited their house to meet Yogananda's mother, and he said to the mother that your next illness shall prove to be your last one. And he also gave a talisman to the mother and told the mother that you should give this talisman to Yogananda after 1 year, and when the talisman has served its purpose, then that talisman will vanish on its own. And in this way Yogananda was revealed the most important messages which her mother had kept to herself, only to be disclosed at the right time, and all these messages were disclosed by his elder brother. So Yogananda's mother knew beforehand that her time on the earthly plane is short, and she did not show any signs of sadness that she would be leaving the earthly plane, but till the end moment of her life she just carried on with her duties, with her responsibilities happily and with love and affection, the way she always used to do. So with this, friends, we come to an end to our first session, and we will continue with our journey next week.
Of my heart, open wide I